Konnichiwa, good evening from Tokyo, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome on today's call, my dear Mavi community. Yes, I said konnichiwa. Right now I'm in Tokyo. It's 1 a.m. and in the last 5 days, I spent with Mr. Shukra Chadibeko in Tokyo. Amazing time where we speak about the future of Mavi Global and, of course, the future of all our partners. Now, on this call, we are having the record-breaking number. Why? Because the vision that we set up 1 year ago, literally on today's call, we will announce when the FlipMe is gonna be live. Now, 1 year ago, ladies and gentlemen, we start with the presentation. We start with presenting the vision, something that it was never done before when we are speaking about banking and where we are speaking about the cryptocurrencies. Now, when we are speaking about banking system, we are speaking about one of the oldest system on the planet. And even if the banks, not even so long ago, they speak about bad about crypto, now this is something that is inevitable, and this is something that needs to come, and it's gonna be connected with the latest technology that's called the blockchain and the cryptocurrencies. Now, 1 year ago, ladies and gentlemen, we start presenting the FlipMe. We start presenting the application that it will offer you on one side crypto and on the other side banking. Now, there was not a lot of people at that time that believe. There was not a lot of people that they say at that time that it's possible. But, ladies and gentlemen, we are speaking about the most important call in the history of the FlipMe. On today's call, ladies and gentlemen, I have the gentleman who made all these things happen. I believe that the journey, it was not easy. With the constant changes of the regulation, with constant changes in the European or on a global scale, now we have managed to put all the things together. That's why on today's call, I'm welcoming Mr. Matias. This is the gentleman who worked on this project for the past 2 years, and with, how I can say, with a happiness, with a joy, I'm inviting Matias on this call in order to share all the details with us, in order to give you the clear path, the clear vision, and literally the statement when everything is going live. I promise you on today's call, we will announce how many hours from now everything will come live. So if you are missing some of the team members, pick up the phone, start dialing, start inviting your team members, because from today's on, we are changing the history. Matias, good evening from Japan. How are you? How were your last nights? And let's start with the first informations about the FlipMe.
So first of all, Doman, thank you for this great presentation, great announcement. I'm actually waiting for who will join now after me, you know. So greetings from Europe. I'm in Slovenia right now. And I have to say, yes, the last few nights, the last few days, and the last weeks and so on were really, really hectic and really, really. We were like, I have to say, we were like, you know, parents expecting a child, you know, and now parents we are already rushing.
I couldn't agree more.
Rushing to the hospital, you know, and all the sirens are on and everything. So almost at the delivery room, you know.
I believe. Matias, let's go step by step. I have a few questions on today's call. We need to make everything clear. We will go step by step. On this call, we are having a lot of translators, so we need to be gentle with them. Let's try to speak slow. Otherwise, I will get a call from Gabriela. Next time, you will get a call from her that we were too fast and we literally killed them all. So we need to be gentle in order really to transform and to send all the messages out. Matias, let's start with the developed and already integrated features inside of the FlipMe today.
Yes. So basically, the first thing we start, of course, is the core thing that we started from. This is the wallet. So these are the blockchain services. In the blockchain services, we have, of course, Ultron, which is for us, I will say, our brother brother network or brother team, I could say like that. So this is one thing. Of course, on Ultron we have all the features in sense of staking, in sense of swapping, in sense of transactions, and all of the usual blockchain functions. Then we have, of course, set our wallet as a multi-chain wallet. So we already have integrated Binance Smart Chain, and of course BNBs and USDT on Binance Smart Chain. Of course, we have integrated also the bridge between them, so people can do it seamlessly between one and the other, back and forth. Of course, this is something which in the future will be more and more optimized or more and more adapted. And I have to say, maybe in this situation, I have to say that this is one of the applications, or let's say the only application where I really have where I'm really excited and nervous at the same time. And I have let's say we have released, I don't know, 40, 50 applications so far as a development teams. But this one is really different because all the others did not have such a big crowd waiting for them. So basically, this is one big exception, let's say thing for us. And this, me and all the development team and the whole team is actually on the edge, and so on, and like firefighters waiting to jump in and put out any fire that comes out. So this is the excitement that is now in the camp. But if I go back, so basically, regarding blockchain, we have all the regular functions which I'm sure most of the people already know. And the first thing, of course, I think which makes the application actually usable, as in usable for our users, is to actually go to fiat. And this is we have included or integrated one provider for virtual cards. So the virtual cards are already integrated into the application. From release on, the users will be able to top up, start spending, do the KYC. KYC is also one of the things which is integrated. And regarding the KYC, so the difference between us and let's say the normal KYC is that we are recycling your KYC. So basically, your KYC will be used many times in the future if you choose to change the provider, if you choose to add another card, and so on and so on. I have just, we have been talking with the development team to actually name the cards. So for example, I have 3 children, so I was thinking, okay, if I open another card for one of my child, I will just name it after that child. So if it's one provider for this child and one provider for this child, this also might be a function which will be in the future. These are the main functions that we are releasing on first stage. I think I told you, I think I told everybody the last time that we need to go step by step because there is many things to test. Many, I will say, blind, spots to see, to check, so that we don't have any let's say, big headache at any moment. And of course, as I said before, for us, this is the birth of a child, and I think you can imagine the excitement which comes with that, and the nervousness which comes with that.
Now, I don't know how this feeling looks like. But literally, it's not just your baby; it's our baby. And even more important is once again, we can reveal on this call that literally 1 week ago, everything was already approved. But the previous week, I tested it. Then we set up a few individuals in Europe, in Latin America, and in Asia, and they already try it. For example, on this call, we have Gabriela. On this call, we have Olivia. There are also people from Romania, from India, and also from Japan. And so literally, my dear community, we need to hide it that it's already live because we need to test it. So we will make sure when it comes live, it literally no bugs, no problems. Of course, it may happen that you have maybe some old version of the iOS and this and that can appear, but once again, a hidden bird, or let's say the first steps were already done in the past 7 days. But even more important is how everything will look like, Matthias. Let's go step by step. So once the application is in the App Store, yeah, then people will literally download the application.
Yes.
What's the next step that they will need to do in order to use on one side crypto and on the other side kite providers? So first step number 1 is download the application.
Of course.
Step number 2 is that there is the button that is called the KYC.
No, first there is the establishment of the wallet. So here there is one important thing. Of course, you have to save your how do you say the set of and you know the private key and everything. So this is something which is normal in the blockchain. So here it's no difference. We don't hold your private key. We don't hold your recovery. How do you say recovery setup? So this is this has nothing to do with us. This is your wallet, your personal wallet. You only have access to this wallet. And this is why it's so important that everybody, of course, there are disclaimers and so on, but usually the disclaimers are not read; they are just skipped, you know. And this is important because here I have to just emphasize again that once you open the application, once you do the private key, from there on the private key is set. So this is your identification. This is your how do you say your key to every transaction, to every service, to every option that we will offer now or in the future.
So this is step number 2. What's the step number 3? What's the step number 3?
So step number 3 is you can either verify directly from your dashboard on the application. So this is one option. I will call it, this is making the KYC on reserve. Or you actually start setting up the cards. So you go into cards section. And in the card section, you will start with the process of issuing the card, opening the card account. And at the same time, the card, if the application will see that you did not yet perform the KYC, it will ask you to do the KYC. The KYC, of course, it's not, so most of the times it will be instant. Here we have seen, especially with this kind of testing, because people were testing really, I would call this negative testing. So in sense of doing the most illogical stuff possible. So in sense of, you know, that you are under, I don't know, some VPN, which has some, I don't know, some different territory. And then you are entering, for example, I don't know, you are from Germany and you are entering Nigeria's IP or from a Nigeria's VPN. And stuff like that. So this kind of things can be red flagged. Red flagged means so there is no panic because of it. It just means that the KYC is not approved instantly, but it can take, let's say, up to 24, even 48 hours to get it approved. Of course, for all of these cases, we have the support behind. So if anybody will feel like that the KYC is problematic or that they have to reset it or stuff like that, just send a ticket on support. The support will, I will say, delete or reset your KYC settings, and from there on you will repeat the process. Or if you want to change the owner or stuff like that.
Matthias, you mentioned the KYC and you mentioned the support. Let's start with the KYC.
Yes.
Who is provider? Who is doing the KYC? What's the name of the company? How big they are? And just so everyone understands how complex the entire process was to include everyone who's involved. So who's doing the KYC?
So KYC is provided via SumSub. This is a company. SumSub, yes. This is a company who is doing the KYC service for Binance, Kraken. I think these are the two which everybody knows. Many banks and so on. They are, of course, a lot of things they cannot even say. But they are, I will say, one of the at least top 3 providers in the world, if not the first one, because they are doing the most worldwide coverage. In sense of, for example, the problem with KYC could be, let's say, different characters. So for example, Asian market especially, or Middle East market, or I mean, wherever they have China, Japan, for example, is a special market. So basically, it cannot be centralized. So SAMSUP can offer a decentralized service, so to speak. So where they have coverage for all of this geographical areas. And as we have been testing, because of course before we decided to join with them, because this will be actually a long-term cooperation as we have the partnership with them. Before we did that, of course, we were testing a lot of providers, and we did not find somebody who could actually provide this service as we want to do it, or as we wanted to do it, because the main thing for us was the international acceptance of the KYC. This is what I said before, for example, for connecting with future providers, for connecting with future bank accounts, with future, financial services and so on. And as far as I see from all of the communication, because I have really a lot of communications now with the partners who are actually starting to become really interested in our project, and now they see something is happening and we are actually pushing through. I see that everybody is accepting SAMSUP as an authority which is universal. So it was a good decision, and I hope it will serve everybody as it should.
So SAMSUP, the outside company that it's working with Binance, ladies and gentlemen, will do the KYC. Now you mentioned, Matjaž, also the support, where every user, if there is any kind of question, where inside of the application, they will request for the ticket in order to get the answer if there is something stuck. It's very important. Either is this email or it's already integrated inside of the app.
Yes, it's already integrated inside of the app. So I would really ask everybody to use the support which is on the application. I can just show it like this, maybe. I don't know if it will show. Okay, so there is an icon which actually gives you the support ticket directly, and basically this will be the fastest way to contact support in any option. So I would really ask people to avoid any other channel, because there are two things which we need to take care of. So one thing is, of course, we are opening the application to wide public. That means that there will be probably several people with the same problem. So this enables us to keep track of every problem and see how much of an emergency certain problem is. So for us to see what kind of situation we are dealing with or what we have to do to resolve it. First thing. And the second thing is the support ticket actually gives us all the information that we need in sense of, what kind of phone you are using and so on and so on. What kind of operating system and things like that, which are then, of course, big help if something would be crashing or stuff like that, or if there would be some conflict with some provider on certain. So, for example, I will give you an example which we had now. iPad Air. I think the small one had a problem of opening certain screen, and it was just on iPad Air. So it's like to replicate this kind of a mistake. On the phone it was working, on big iPad it was working, and we were testing, both of them. But on the iPad Air it was not working. So this is why I'm urging everybody to actually use support tickets and work with that.
Now, Matjaž, if you allow me, I would like to share how the desktop of the application, when we are speaking about the crypto part, will look like. Can you please just quickly explain us what are the first functionalities, like you just described it 10 minutes ago? Then we will jump to the crypto card and how to top it up, how to spend it, and so on. Can you just quickly drive over the application so everyone will understand what kind of options are gonna be on the crypto part.
Yes. So basically, if we just go through shortly with the application, so we have top left, you have the normal profile. So this is like, you know, on normal. I mean, I think every application has the same, you know, synaptic things. So you have first the profile, and then you have all networks. So we are here setting up whether you are looking only at the total balance that you want to see on the application, or you want to see a specific network. So, for example, Ultron, or for example, Binance. So, if you want to switch, you can switch. On the top right side, you have the support. So this is why we have put it here. So it's always available whenever you feel, you know, this is not what it should be, or something is taking too long, or whatever. This is something which is open. And then, of course, in the middle, you have, okay, wallet balance. I see you have been spending also a little bit, so that's one thing. And then you have below, you have the what I will say, the currencies that you have currently. These are the main currencies that we have implemented now. Of course, if you go to see all, you will see many other currencies. And of course, if you go to, for example, USDT, you will see then, you know, different networks of USDT. So, for example, USDT is on both networks, so you will be able to select one, other, or the third, and actually work with it. And then if you go, okay, on the bottom you have home. So this is always, you know, going back button, or going to if you get too down, lost in the depth, you have the home button. In the arrows up and down, or up and down, you have all of the functions which are, so from staking, swapping, bridging, so converting, and so on and so on. And on the top, on the bottom right situation, you have cards. So this will be where you will add the card, and you will start the process with the fiat currencies.
Now, literally, we are coming to the moment that everyone was waiting for, and this is the provider that it's already integrated. Who it is, and how does it function?
So the provider is ArcFi. So this is let's say this is a partner we have been partnering with for a long time. They have supported us basically from the beginning. We have seen how they function, and the best, or better, the most important thing was that they were actually supporting us from the beginning, in sense of also the development, in sense of how to make certain solutions, how to provide certain things, and how to let's say connect with the banks, and how to actually approach certain things on the banks. So this is why they have I will say, the privilege to be the first. There are, let's say, several which are already in the waiting line, but this is the one which is already now in action. And with the deploy, or with the release of the application, you will be able to do the cards. The card itself has pretty much high limits, but I think this we will cover in the next presentations. But don't be afraid, you can use this card properly. I don't know how much you spend it, but I think the biggest tester, or the most expensive tester so far was about 15,000 in this week.
Now, when we are speaking about when the KYC is approved,
yes,
this is the first provider that it's already available. So literally, when we will announce this, when people will download the application, when they will do the KYC, ArcFi, it's already integrated. Now, as you can see, I spent with no problem in Japan, also in Dubai. When we are speaking about the ladies, or who spend it the most, I believe that this is something that they are going to be more than happy in order to start to use it. But the most important feature is the button top up. So this is not the prepaid card. We are speaking about the card. After you do the KYC, you can literally send 100, $1,000, $10,000, or even $1 million on top of the card and start to spending it, if I understood correctly?
Well, with $1 million, we might have a little bit of a question where the money is coming from, or not.
But 10,000, 20,000, no problem, huh?
Yes, of course. So normal amounts are normal amounts, and what you said is it's let's say a crazy amount for a normal person. So yes, this is let's say a normal spending card which you can use for anything. I hope that not I hope, but I expect that nobody will go and buy a Ferrari with this or something like that. So this is let's say the functionality of the card should be for everyday use. You can top it up as often as you want. You see that okay, you cannot show the details here, but it has I think it has 4 years of validity. So basically, you can use this card as the next, whatever spending you want to have.
Now, Matthias, we come to the point that it's called the fees. Probably I received in the last couple of weeks, in the last couple of months, the question, how expensive or what is going to be the competitive advantage? But before we will reveal this information, let's speak about the big guys. Let's speak about the company that everyone knows, for example, PayPal. So how much they charge in order to top up the card when we are speaking about the PayPal?
So in all of the transactions, all of the providers usually have an open percentage, I will call it, so percentage that they are advertising. And then there is the actual percentage which actually comes through. So what our policy in principle is that we don't have hidden fees. So this is why
no hidden fees.
Exactly. So this is why when there is a purchase, so for example for the card, when you do the transaction, it's clear how much you're going to pay for the transaction, and this is the finality of it. So there is no okay, on top of this you get this or blah 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 whatever. You will get the amount, and the amount is there. There is no up and down or something. When you are talking about, let's say, the big guys, of course, the big guys have the strength and the possibility to actually play with it. They have started, of course, everybody has started with, I would say, 0 or 1% or something. And when they moved on the market and when they became strong, they saw that they can actually pull it off, and that a lot of people don't even see this kind of fees. So, for example, PayPal has a foreign exchange fee of 4.5%. So this is, for example, something which most of the people don't even recognize, because they are doing $50, $20, $100 transactions, because it hides inside. You don't even see. It's a few dollars. Okay, it's a few dollars. But when you go into actual percentage, you see, okay, this is for me, it's high percentage, for example. So what we are implementing on the Forex, for example, is 2.5%. So this is yes. So this is for me, this is the beginning. So of course, our position on the market is not strong. Is weak, I will say, at this moment. Before the
we're just starting, correct?
Exactly before the start. But what I expect is that we will have more and more providers, and that we will actually enhance the competition between providers, because this is the main goal of FlipMe, to actually have I will say a free market where every provider is actually competing for the clients, because it's so easy to switch. So if you have for example, one provider which you don't feel comfortable anymore, you will have another one which for you is maybe better. And of course, not every provider can be the best for everybody. So there are providers who are good for, people who travel and use a lot of foreign exchange, and there is another provider who will be good for, let's say, Hungarians, for example, or for people from Dubai. So the main point is, and this is the goal in principle which we have from the beginning, is that users will be able to select among multiple providers, get the best offer, the best offer for them. So this does not mean the cheapest for one thing or everything, because there is no ultimately cheapest provider for anything, but the best, let's say, tailor-suited offer for them, and something that they will see, okay, I feel comfortable with this and I feel secure with this, because this is also, one of the features where I mean, we are talking about people's funds. So this is not something where, tomorrow something changes and which was with several, exchanges and stuff like that. So this is something which we take with full responsibility, and the mission is to actually create the best ecosystem possible for the providers at the same time and for the users. Because we believe that both will have big benefits.
So, Matjaž, if we simplify, if we need to compare PayPal, who is one of the biggest one, and the FlipMe, they're charging 4%. The FlipMe starting is 2.5% with no hidden fees.
Yes.
Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, if someone asks you, is this card competitive? Of course it's competitive. It's way cheaper, and once again, no hidden cost. Matjaž, in between you said beautifully, ArcFi is the first one. Let's speak about now Alchemy Pay. Let's speak about the Bitcoin Black. What's the plan for the FlipMe in order to put other providers time-wise?
Yes. So, of course, I will put like this. You are always pushing me for dates, so always pushing me for deadlines and stuff like that. So I
get pushed from the community. So, I get from the community, and then I'm just passing it. it.
So, of course, there are always things which we can confirm 100%, and there are things where we are not yet at 100%. But I think without any reservation, within the next month, we will have at least one more provider. So Bitcoin Black is already in the process of integration. I think we are talking about now weeks, let's say, to finalization and to testing. So the main thing, as I said before, is not only integration. Integration is in development in principle, as let's say, very easy. Not very easy, but it's easy. But find all of the blind spots. This is the more of a challenge. And of course, a blind spot can surprise us, but to go back, of course, because you are asking me for a deadline. In principle, I'm saying within a month we should have at least one more provider, if not two, on the application.
Okay, Matjaž. Now, based on all the information that you share with us, we can expect a lot of updates, a lot of integrations, a lot of things happening after the launch.
Yes.
Now, can the community, the FlipMe community, in the next 10 days, expect the roadmap 2025, 2026, and 2027? Now, why I'm asking this? The vision, it's important. And once again, I know that everything is ready from the technical. You share a lot of things with me. I mean, I'm having the NDA. It's very expensive, so I cannot reveal it. Is it possible that on the next week, or at least in the next 2 weeks, can we reveal what FlipMe is preparing, let's say, by the end of this year?
Yes, of course. However, so the answer is yes. However, with one reservation, that the roadmap in the financial markets has to be flexible. So if we decide, or better, if we see, because this will also be a part of the response of the community to see, the community is searching more of this kind of service or more of that kind of service. So we will also adapt this roadmap according to the community. But of course, this is something we have been, let's say, holding back because we didn't want to reveal it, because it has so many, or better, we didn't want to promise something before actually being ready to release. So this is for us the key.
Now, I think we came to the last point that is the most important, and that it's called when the application is coming out, and then straight after when it's coming into the Google Store. So, my dear Matjaž, please reveal to our community when FlipMe is gonna be available in the App Store. The audience is yours.
So we will do the release into the App Store. This will happen tomorrow at midnight Central Eastern Time. Then I presume that within 10 days. So I have to apologize for taking priority in Apple, but I have an Apple, so I had to take precedence. So I have to apologize to Android users, but within 10 days you should have it in the Google Play Store, and from there on use it also there. The code is already, everything is in processing, so things are in motion. We are doing the testing. We are doing the let's say similar as in App Store, and of course, I would say the real reason. I was joking a little bit before, but the real reason is that Google has so many more devices and so many more potential compatibility issues. So what we wanted to see first on the Apple devices, which are, let's say, one manufacturer devices, before we go into multi-manufacturing devices as in Android. But as I said, within 10 days we should be in the Google Play Store, and from there on, of course, welcome also Android users.
So, my dear community, Mr. Matjaž said tomorrow midnight Central European Time. This is 8 a.m. Tokyo time. This is 2 a.m. Dubai time. You can go on the App Store. You can find what's going to be the name inside of the App Store. It's going to be FlipMe, or how our users will have an option to find the application and download it.
FlipMe.
FlipMe. So, ladies and gentlemen, tomorrow, midnight Central European time, go into the App Store, write FlipMe, download the application, and you can start to use the FlipMe application once again for all the Apple users. In the next 10 days, everyone who's having the Android device is gonna be also released. Now, on this call, we have a lot of people that they bought the card. Now, the card, the virtual cards, and the physical cards are, of course, from our users. Now, you mentioned that in the next 2 weeks to 3 weeks, also the other providers are going to be integrated. How is with these cards and how they will be able to claim them?
Exactly. So there is a process which we are developing on the back office, where all of the owners of the packages will be able to click on redeem. So to redeem a card, this process will then guide them to the provider. So the provider for these cards will be Bitcoin Black, and will direct them to the provider, and on the provider, basically either within the application or directly so the people who will be using the application will go to the application. The people who will not be using the application will be actually can go directly to Bitcoin Black. But within the application, you will be able to redeem the card, redeem your package, and open the account and start using it. So it should be pretty much seamless. It should be, I will say, imagine that your MetaMask is being extended via card, and I will say as simple as that. So no, I hope it's simpler as that. Let's put it like that.
Okay, Matjaž, why every FlipMe user should come on every week on the call in order to get the latest news and updates? How many things? What's the roadmap? What are the future plans? And what is your target for the FlipMe by the end of this year?
Well, the plans are very big, I have to say. If I use the same analogy as before, we will be very active in teaching this child as much things as possible. To add the providers as fast as possible, we are actually creating a protocol where we will be inviting the providers. They will be able to connect automatically. So basically, that it will not be a part of our development integration, but it will actually just be their integration and just adding their services and putting I will say like an advertisement or a banner, sort of a notification, let's say, for the users that this service is available. This is one thing. The second big thing for me is the optimization in sense of user experience. So this is something which I think it's missing a lot especially in the financial applications and in the services in general. This is the second thing. And the third thing is to go to the areas where we can go and nobody else in principle. Well, they can go, but they have to be very separated. So go to certain exchanges, certain options, how to introduce services which are in principle marginal, or you need a special application for them. So to include them into the system. Of course, hand in hand goes the adoption to the users. So our goal is to have 100,000 users by the end of the year. So this is the goal, because there are two reasons why we have this number. If we will reach it, I don't know. So I will say we are being optimistic based on the response, based on how people like the functionalities and so on. But there are two things. Here we are working as a union. Here we are working as a family, so to speak, because everybody who is joining FlipMe is actually improving FlipMe in sense of the strength and in sense of our negotiation power. So when we are talking about what we were talking about before, for example, for fees, as I said, on the beginning, we have fees which are, I will say, normal, which are entry level. Because we cannot say, we have this amount of volume, we have this amount of transactions, this amount of users, and so on and so on. Once we reach 50,000 plus, if God willing, we go to 100,000 and we say, okay, now we have 100,000 users. This is a market that not even one provider in the world can say, I'm not interested. So even Binance has an appetite for a network which has 100,000 users. So if you imagine the integration in PayPal, integration with Binance and stuff like that, so this actually then becomes a bridge. And for example, there are, I hope I will not say too much now, but there are, let's say, services which are like MoneyGram or things like that, where it's actually a cash out situation at certain moment, or if you want to send a gift to somebody and so on and so on. This is also on the horizon for integration. So plans are very big. As I said, I hope that we will be able to celebrate with 100,000 users by the end of the year. This is our wish, and I hope that the road to there is as smooth as possible.
Matthias, what I can say, thank you very much for joining this call. For the end, final question. Can we reveal how many cards is going to be distributed once all three providers are going to be integrated, or we keep this secret for the next week?
I think we should keep this secret for the next week.
Okay, Matthias, once again, thank you very much for joining this call. What we can promise to our FlipMe community is that all the videos, how to download the application, how to start with creating the wallet, how to do the KYC, how to top up the card, everything is already in the production. In the next days, all videos are coming out. All the tutorials are coming in Hungarian, in Spanish, in English, in Japanese, in Hindi language, in order to give the tutorials, let's say, for the end users, how to download the application and how to use it. All that kind of things are in a preparation. And ladies and gentlemen, if you still don't have your FlipMe card yet, visit maviglobal.com. Inside of the back office, claim, buy the card. Why we don't need to wait anymore. Matthias, on today's call, just reveal that the card tomorrow midnight Central European time, everything is going live. Matthias, what else to add to such a beautiful call? The final word goes to you, or what I can say, can we expect any kind of promotion next week for our Mavi Global community, or we should just invite them on the next week call?
Well, one thing, of course, we invite them on the next week call, but I would like to thank everybody for their support, for their patience, for their, let's say, encouragement and positive, let's say, comments which we received from everywhere. And actually, this has been a long, I will call it pregnancy if I use the same analogy. It was a bit longer than expected. But here we are. I will call it the phase one. So this is the birth of it. Of course, there are many phases in the future, but I'm honored to be here and honored to work with a group like this.
Matthias, thank you very much. My dear community, thank you very much for joining this call. Speak with your team members. Give them all the information. Our baby with the name Filipni is here. We are starting our journey. Come on the next week. Mr. Matthias is preparing something great. In behind the scenes, we are preparing all the tutorials. Until then, I wish you a great day. I wish you a great week and good night from Tokyo. Bye-bye.
Thank you.